God goes with me wherever I go. Of course, this is a pretty miraculous expression and understanding that just simply the title, God Goes With Me Wherever I Go. Now, there's many different ways, and you would kind of reveal to yourself, hopefully you recognize it, what you think of what God is by how you would think of this. So in many different ways, people have still a sense of separation about it and find it useful to recognize, say, God is holding your hand and walking with you, and various different things, possibly even just surrounding you and feeding you beautiful things and guiding you and protecting you, and all these different variations. But the whole reason this lesson is so successful and easy to achieve is because it's quite literally only your recognition that it needs. It is your reality, in fact. So it is a pretty phenomenal statement to get into this, because it's likely that as much as you hear it, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense to you until you recognize, say, essentially what God is. Now, as much as you have all these layers of existence upon yourself, you've made yourself story after story after story. You have all these different experiences and all these different worlds of whole things you might not even remember, and every single time you completely wipe every knowledge, every bit of information in any sort of way of what you are, who you are, and so you come here completely blank, completely empty, and again, experiencing it firsthand. You want to know every last little option and variation of what is the totality of God for yourself, and to experience it for, say, God. So it's a pretty phenomenal thing, because in the sense that you can quiet your mind and not think about anything, and that you can literally go down into, say, the presence of God. And it's not only possible, it in fact is the most natural and easiest thing to do in the entirety of all existence. Now, it's confusing and hard when you have no idea what God is. When you're looking for something else that God is not. When you're looking for some identity or some shape or form, some object, some existence where God is not. Now, it's interesting, because as I say that, God is just like that dreamer idea, right? Everything that's in the dreamer's mind still, regardless of the shape and form being real, being illusions, it makes absolutely no difference. For in that, there is God everywhere. Even though it's not anywhere outside of the dreamer's mind, God is in all existence. And we think of as God is everywhere, and if you even think of it as energy, and God is energy and all this stuff, it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. And some of us get to this state, we can accept God is everywhere, but then it's just everywhere besides this space in my mind. And we like to think God is in everything I see, and yet it's not in me. And even if we have that lesson, we like to really forget. And while we're being so obsessed with our little person, our personality, we want to forget. We want to insist upon it that we are this person identity because of what we are. And when it believes something, it literally creates its reality. It makes it fact. It makes it real. You make it real. So absolutely, God goes with me everywhere I go. And that means there is no reason, any sort of depression, any sort of fear, any sort of problems, any sort of difficulties at all. All I need to recognize is what goes with me everywhere I go. Well, I know one thing that goes with me everywhere I go, and that's me.